So, hello everybody. We're going to explain today we have a little example about our website layout in W3 schools. You see here in the website, and we're gonna learn and we're gonna take that example, that little template, maybe to create our websites. But what we want to do with this video is to understand that code, how it works, and how can we adapt it to our own website. Okay, so first of all, what's a website layout? Maybe we have explained this at class, but you know that when you want want to create a website, you need to split it in different parts. Okay, you want to have a header, you want to have a navigation bar. That's the most common way to show a website. There are many, but this example that you see here with a header, with a navigation menu, some content in 3 or 4 columns, 2 columns, 1 column, and after that, when you finish it all, you have a little footer. Okay, so I think that this is the most common way to see a website nowadays. So we're going to learn how W3 Schools does it, okay, and understand its code. So first of all, I think that this is very easy. For a header, you need nothing, because you see here just changes one background color, the text align, padding, and you see that you have a little element which doesn't, you don't care if you put it wider or not, because you see style header, you have here a div, and in a div, if you don't specify the width, it takes the whole width of the website, okay, of the page. So you have a background color, this padding, and this text align. Nothing else. Very easy. What else? After that, we would put maybe a navigation bar. We have covered this part about navigation bars, vertical ones, horizontal ones, and drop downs even. So we can see that if we want to put after a header, this is the header's style, and you have the top nav, A elements, these links, how they need to be, when you hover, how their color changes. Okay, so this is very easy, because you see that once you finish a div, a container, a box, you start with another. Okay, you have two boxes, and each box would be one next to the other, and you don't need to put anything different. So you have this little box, and after that, this little box. What else? The content. Here is very well explained. The layout in this section often depends on the target users. The most common layout is one or combining them of the following. One column, often used for mobile browsers. When you need to use a mobile phone, you don't like to go to the left and the right. You navigate with the position of the mobile phone will be like this one and not this one. Okay, so this will be the way you like to navigate, and the way you want to scroll is using like this, using moving. So for this type of screens, it's very common to have just one column. You can have 2 or 3, but you can also create a responsive way to answer that, because you can create a website which is maybe with the content in 2 or 3 columns, but if it detects that it is a smartphone, so it has fewer pixels, so it says, okay, just put them all in one column. So here we have a little explanation about that. and we'll see with the code. Here, after the header and the navigation bar, links, everything else, here we have 3 columns. You see here the width is 33.33, so it's just a third part of the whole width. So we have and row after, well, you see that this is well, we have explained this at class, but we use float left. So if we float left, it will put every box that is floating, it will go to the first top left part where it has a little where it has enough space to fit in. So if we create 3 columns with 33.33% width, they will go, all of them, you can see here, 1 column, 2 columns and 3 columns, and those 3 columns, which have the same content, they will all fit in the same row. Well, apart from that, I think that without using this row, I think that yes, row, it has created another box called row, which has a display table, and after the content it clears everything, so you end the floating. Okay, all the elements, all the inside boxes are floating, but if you say clear both, you clear this float property of the boxes. So we will, I think that this is not important for this example, but yes, for other ones. Run, you can see that it has no importance because it doesn't change a thing. But for future changes, it will affect. Okay, so we have here also this little responsive element, that is, if the media screen, the columns max, if the max width is 600 pixels, so it detects that it is a smartphone instead of a big browser. It says, okay, it changes the columns property, because instead of being 33.33% the width, it will change it to 100%. So all the columns will go one below the other. So you will detect this when we go to the right. Okay, here you see result size to 588. 588 is not enough. Yes, you see here, after 600 you can have 3 columns, but once you get below 600 it goes to 1 column, and it will be better for smartphones. Okay, what else? I think that this is the most important part. This the programmer likes to create also, remember, a row column, a row box, which is the box that contains all the row elements. All the columns are in a row, so it creates a little box that takes the whole width where you can put each column. Okay, so in this example, this all will be a row. Okay, and after a row, the first thing you have to do is to clear the flotation, that float property, and continue. What else? So after that, well, of course we can create unequal columns. You don't need to have all of them 33.33%. So we can have different columns with, yes, you can see column side, column middle. We have different properties, so we can create different different columns. So you have, it's almost the same, but we have, instead of one column, we have one column for properties for all the columns. We have one property that is side, that changes the width, and the column, the middle, the middle property, the middle class, puts another width of 50%. So here you say column, side, column, middle. You have different classes, and each one is for each column. So you have 25% here in this on the sides and 50% here in the main content. Okay, so this is wider, and we have also this property, this responsive property, which changes it all and puts them all in one column. So the sides here convert into wider ones, and the main content may be wider or sometimes thinner. Okay, so we will go to the last part, because after that we can put, after the clearing it, you can add another box like the header, that is the footer. So I think that there's nothing important here, but we will see how can we understand this all code. So first of all, the style. Okay, you say box sizing, border box. You have different properties, main properties. You can use this or not and see which is the difference. You see that here we have emulated an image, and if we don't put this, the box is not inside it. So you have to be very careful with the properties that you add. Okay, so here the box sizing border box works well. Look in the internet, what is border box, what this property do. Okay, what else? The body, font family, Arial, padding, backgrounds, nothing very important. Headers, very easy. Header H1, font size 50 pixels. It has changed the font size of the headings inside headers, not other headers. Okay, also not other headings, sorry. So it will affect to this one, which creates 50 pixels, but here if you are using again H1, it won't be so big. Okay, I think that it uses it. Row. Yes, row, left column. Well, here is H2, it's not H1, but if we put H1 here, this one is not as big as this one, and they both are headings, but this is because this H1 is inside headers. Okay, this affects only header elements. Top nav, very easy. We have explained this lots of times. So to create all of this, you have to create these three elements: the flow, the hover, everything. Creator unequal columns that float next to each other. So they are both floating. Okay, very important. One is 75%, the other one is 25%. They all are different. The fake images are like images that take the whole width but with a padding of 20 pixels. So you can see that there are borders, and those affect this element. Okay, so these are little like emulation of different images. Okay, cards are these boxes. This one is a card, this one is a card, which takes all the width of the box. The background color is white, the padding is 20 pixels, the margin top is 20 pixels, so it adapts well to this template. So row after, so it takes these elements, all these cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it puts them all in a row, because all of them create the row of left column and right column. So all the columns are inside a row, and after the row it clears the floating and you can add a footer. Okay, after putting them all, it clears them up and creates a footer. For example, here also it clears them up and the footer. And you can see that the responsive is also here. That says if it's 800 pixels of width, 800 pixels, you can have 2 columns. Okay, and if not, you can yes, you have 2. But if you have less than 800, it will go to 1 column, and if you have less than 400, something else will happen. Okay, it changes also the links here. We can see top nav, this affects the left and right columns, and this one affects the navigation bar. So with bigger, the navigation bar is as it is, but with thinner web sites is different. So this is it. I think that you can understand this code well. You can use this template to create your own websites. It's all about using float left. It's flow left. Float left is the key of all of it. So we create little boxes, and the property fits them in the place that we want. And we have to use all the width with percentages. Okay, we have to say that this is 75%, this is 25%, so we can fit them all in the width. Okay, so very easy. You can analyze this code and use it for your own website. It's very important that you understand this, and you see that responsive properties are not very difficult. You have to understand the basics, the logic of the code. Okay, so I think with this part is enough. We'll see each other in the next video. Okay, see ya.